Just wanted to drop a little quick video talking about the rise of the Judeo-Christian traditions. The reason why we study them isn't to convert you or to convince you of their truth or anything like that. The reason why we've studied them and talked about them, we've had you write about them and read about them, is so that you understand that they have shaped the culture that we live in. That the laws that have kind of been put forth in their scriptures and their sayings have shaped our understanding and how we view the world. So, with the common sayings, we have these little nuggets that we kind of take out of context, but still drop in, still are a little bit relevant. We still have these ideas of being concerned with what is justice, what is love, all of that. And we see that reflected here. We also have a couple of different phrases that jump out to us, and that's fine because they enter pop culture. That's why these religions, at least for our class, are important to know a little bit about. And we might think that some of their laws are a little crazy if you actually looked it up. Um, the couple of scriptures that I linked in the Judaism law section of that PowerPoint, you would see that you have a law like when you build your house, build a rail or a little net area almost around the roof so that if someone falls, they don't fall to their death. There's also, don't muzzle your ox so that while they're plowing, so that they can eat. Take care of your animals. Don't be cruel. Take care of your neighbors. Look out for those little things that you can do to help people, help others, help animals, fellow creatures live their best life. It's not just about following the law. It's you have to understand these the intents behind it. Also, and speaking of that, you have this notion that the Judeo-Christian understanding of the world is harsh on women, and from our perspective, it is. I mean, to be honest. But from the perspective of that time period, it was very progressive. So you have the law that, and the Jewish law, that women who are on their period actively have to leave town. And you go, well, that seems a little mean. But if you think about sanitation, and if you think about what sanitary um, methodology they have at that time, you go, oh, okay. Plus, some women I talk to would be like, man, I'd love to have once a month a week vacation outside of the city where my family's not. And this wasn't just like kick them out. This was like a town outside of the city for the women to stay in. It was their thing. And you have this kind of following into the Christian scriptures where the first people that Jesus appears to are women. And in Roman times, women's testimony was not valid. So to show up to women and to have the women be the testimony and witness of the resurrection of Christ is to kind of show a little bit of love towards women and say, look, no, like we value and honor women as humans that can think, that can do things, that have legal standing. Um, you have the story of Jesus at the well with the Samaritan woman. I mean, I don't know how well you know the Bible, but that's fine. Um, where Jesus is out and there's a woman from Samaria at a well by herself. Now, in the culture, a man would never approach a woman, and especially if she was alone, and the woman would not speak to the man. But Jesus subverts the culture and goes and talks to the woman. Also, a Jew would not talk to a Samaritan. Samaritans lived in the north and worshipped in the north and believed that you could kind of worship anywhere, where the Jews were in the southern kingdom and believed that you had to go to Jerusalem to worship. And so there's that natural rivalry there, and Jewish people thought Samaritans were less than people a lot of the time. So you have that little bit of subverting the culture there by Jesus of saying, no, humans are humans, people are people. Let's talk. Right? It's not that crazy a thing that I ask a woman to get water for me and I accept it, because a good Jew would not have accepted water from a Samaritan woman. So we have all these fun interplays going on. And we start to see that there might be a little bit of building block from our progressive ideals of today, that maybe with these stories that started out where we see them as so backwards and so problematic, that maybe they had to happen. Maybe they needed to come into our culture. Maybe they needed to shape our values so that then now our values can be what they are. And that's kind of what we've been doing in this class, is trying to understand, okay, so we have these values coming in. How do they build up to where we are now? And we might regress in some of those values. We might not be the society that knows the most, knows the best, and functions the best. And we kind of have to own up to that. And we have to see things in other cultures that you go, yeah, probably that would make us better people. Right. So in the Judeo Christian tradition, there is a prohibition against charging usury, charging interest on loans. And you go, that'd be awesome, right? It might not have ever been actually carried out, but at least the idea of don't take advantage of people. And you have the idea of Jubilee that comes up in the Jewish scriptures, where every 7 years you give the land rest. You're supposed to have enough harvest so that you can rest and rest the land for 7 years so that it can heal and come back. And now we've kind of changed that, resting the land a little bit, into the rotation of crops, where you grow crops 1 year and then you grow a crop that replaces the nutrients that first crop would have taken. And you kind of do that, or you graze in one field and then leave it and move your cattle or whatever grazing animals to another field so that they can graze there and the other field can grow back. This care for the world is a good thing. Also, in the 7 years, you forgive each other and you forgive loans. And then every 49 years, you give all the property back that you've ever bought from someone else. And you free all of your slaves. And everyone kind of resets in society. Because you kind of imagine that this is the idea that people shouldn't be taken advantage of, and when they're taken advantage of, they go lower and the people who take advantage go higher, but it all should reset, right? And Jesus in the Christian scriptures takes this a little bit further in his following of this and says that whenever we take advantage of someone, we should give it back right away. We Part of our repentance, part of our understanding of kind of our moral problems, our spiritual problems, is that we have wronged people, and it's not enough to just say that we have wronged people, but we need to actually actively give back and make restoration. One of the major themes of the Jewish and Christian scriptures is this idea of restoration. of bringing back relationship to its proper place. I hope that's helped you a little bit. I hope you watch those Khan Academy videos. Um, the other videos I made kind of disappeared due to some technical issues, but I'll get back into the rotation. Thanks for being patient with me as we're trying to figure this out, and have a good week.